But you want to come up with a title that will sell. So the title should consist of both a title and a subtitle. The title is usually a few, 2, 3, maybe 4 words, okay? And the subtitle is generally longer and more descriptive, okay? You want to stay away from just having, like, I see people that just have like a title that just kind of sounds cool or something like that, but you're not really selling people on the benefits and everything as well. So I like to have more descriptive titles, and I think of a title as a headline. It has to be something that when people see it, they're like, I want that. That's going to solve my problem. That's going to help me. That's awesome. The title must have benefits in it. So if you look at my title example, the binge eating cure, that's a benefit. Binge eating cure is a benefit. The most effective permanent solution, that's also benefit. Overcome binge eating disorder, that's a benefit. And just adding for life at the end or in 30 days or something like that, that's also another benefit. So the more benefits that you can have in any title or headline, the more powerful it's going to be. And so the title also must be descriptive and have keywords in it. So because what helps me rank for the keyword binge eating is having the keyword binge eating in the title and also binge eating disorder as well. And if you look back, let's see if I can go back for a sec. If you look here, there's something called the series title, which basically in brackets I have a bunch of other keywords like emotional eating disorder, overeating, sugar addiction. That's a little trick that I use that it now helps me rank for those keywords as well. So if someone types in sugar addiction, my book is also going to show up for that keyword also. So the more that you can optimize your book for keywords, the more sales you're going to get from your book. It doesn't look as pretty and stuff, but it makes you money. Okay, number 3 is you want to create your Kindle book. So there's 2 options. You can either write the book yourself, which is not recommended unless you really love writing. And the second option is you can outsource the book and have someone else do it for you, which is much easier, faster, and more profitable. Now, the reason why I say that, I learned a long time ago from one of my mentors, Frank Kern, and he said that you do not want to be a writer, okay? And the reason is that writers don't make money, okay? Marketers make money. And when you see, there's a difference between even being a writer and being an author. A writer might be someone that actually sits down and writes their book. An author is someone that doesn't necessarily have to write something, but he can claim ownership of it. So for example, this presentation we're doing right now, I'm providing a lot of great value. I can say a lot of great stuff during it. I could take the video and have a transcriber transcribe it, and then that can be a Kindle book that could help people. And I didn't write it. I had someone else write it for me, but I'm still the author because it's my content. I have ownership of that. And so you want to always find ways to leverage yourself in some way. And I've discovered, because I've actually written many of my own books. I love writing. I do blogging and stuff like that. But it's not the best use of my time because if you wrote a book, how long do you think it would take you to write a book?
41 years.
Okay, a long time. In the amount of time that one person would take to write a book, I could outsource and have 10 books made and make 10 times more money than you. Okay, so writing is something that you can outsource. You can leverage it to other people that can do it even better than you can. There's a lot of strategies that I have for outsourcing and getting books done inexpensively that I can share with you guys as well. My books are short, 20 to 30 pages, and as I mentioned, I create a series of books. So if you created a book on paleo diet, you're also going to want to have maybe a book on like paleo recipes and paleo cookbook and CrossFit or something like that, just other related things because that complement that because then you can cross-promote your books. And if someone likes one of your books, they're going to go ahead and buy your other books as well. Okay, so that's more monetizing the back end of it. The other thing as well, I have a book that I think is 200 pages or so, and the unfortunate truth for authors here is that less than 10% of people that buy a book read past the first chapter. So 90% of the people that actually buy your book aren't going to receive any value from it whatsoever. And so that's why I've also discovered that having shorter books is not only more profitable, but it actually serves people better. And I'm all about adding value, helping people. That's my mission in life. And the unfortunate thing is when someone buys a book that's 400 pages, they're so intimidated by it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I have so many books on my bookshelf that I just haven't read. I'm like, oh, cool, I want that book, and I just have it sitting there. So I've actually found it to be more beneficial for people and adding more value by focusing on smaller books. So the other thing that I've learned as well is you do not want to invest too much in your book at the beginning because you want to test to see if there's actually a market there first. okay, to see if you can make money. But you still want to make sure that your book is high quality and adds value. So what I do with all my books, and so I actually wrote a book years ago. It was a dating book. I spent a year writing it. I wanted it to be perfect. I had my friends and family proofread it. And once I eventually launched it, it wasn't very successful because I didn't do the research beforehand to make sure there was a market there first for what I was trying to create. And so I ended up wasting all this time, energy, and money launching something that ended up not even really benefiting people or being very successful for me as well. So what I've learned now is to put something out there just to see if someone buys it. Sell it for 99 cents. That's all my books sell for 99 cents. It's still great value, but only once it sells, once I have the proof of concept, then I improve the book and I make it better and better, make it the best book that I can make it. Okay, just like if I were to sell this, you know, like any product, you have a prototype, you know, and you're always improving that product based on the feedback of the customer, based on the market, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I've discovered to have that kind of approach of not trying to be perfect. Dan Sullivan has a book called the 80% approach, and basically says that 80% of anything is where the most value is. And so when a lot of people, they focus on, you know, in my case, I used to be a perfectionist. I'd focus on the right spelling and the perfect grammatical structure to every sentence, and I wanted everything to be perfect. But meanwhile, most of the people reading your book don't even notice that stuff. They don't even care. It's all your own thing of what you're worried about or self-conscious about or trying to make everything perfect. Instead of just putting something out there, 80% of it, as Dan Sullivan says, that's going to provide the most value to people, and it's actually going to make a difference at the highest level. So I kind of have a little bit different approach that's counterintuitive to a lot of different ways, but it ends up working pretty well. I spend about $50 to get a book done. Okay, I use a company that can write books for me, but there's also, if you go to Odesk, you can actually hire writers that are overseas that are still native English writers and can produce great quality content. They'll do all the research for you. You can give them the research as well. If I found, for example, like a really awesome YouTube video on the paleo diet that's like an hour long or a podcast, I could give that to a writer and say, hey, this is great stuff. I want you to take this, here's all the resources, and turn this into a Kindle book. Okay, so they don't even have to necessarily be an expert on these subjects. They're just taking all the great information out there and providing it in one place. Okay?
You say
Odesk. Odesk.com, yeah. Create your Kindle cover. So once you have the book, okay, you want to create a cover as well. Now, covers are important because people generally buy stuff based on the cover. You want to make sure the cover grabs people's attention, stands out, makes them say, I want that. I use Fiverr.com for all my covers. You can get a great cover for $5. Just make sure they got a great feedback, great portfolio. I've invested hundreds of dollars on covers too, and I can get like better covers on Fiverr, which is pretty incredible. And sometimes I might even if I'm really picky, then I will order like 4 gigs on Fiverr from 4 different people and spend $20, and I just pick the best one that I like the most. So Fiverr's great. You can get a cover done in like 2 days.